Ladies and gentlemen, here we are again for another Norristown area high school Eagles football game. Dave Fazzini, Mark Kolodinsky here, and we are broadcasting, well, not exactly live, because you'll be watching this in a few days, but we're here at Fort Washington's famous Luciani's Pizzeria. This is the place where dreams are born. And one of the things that we're going to talk about tonight a lot, other than the delicious pizza, what we're about to feast upon, is the Norristown area Eagles, who are looking to feast tonight on the Flying Cardinals of Upper Dublin. So, Mark, as we start tonight, we spoke before, a little pregame action. The Eagles' defensive line, you see that as being one of the keys to this game. Talk about that for a little bit.
Well, the Eagles are extremely deep at defensive line. We know about all their stars. Bloomer, one of the captains, Marcus Robbins, one of the captains, and then Smith and Battaglio, the ends. And then they bring guys off the bench, like Christian Exum and Terrence Edwards. I mean, to have 6 guys that are starting quality like that, I mean, you saw what it did last week in the Cheltenham game where they had 4 or 5 sacks for the team. I mean, it just works wonders for a team to have a defensive line to anchor your defense like that.
And as you said, you know, Coach Smith doesn't even really refer to them so much as starters, not starters, coming off the bench, not coming off the bench. He just views those guys, Bloomer, Edwards, Robbins, who was last week's Defensive Player of the Week, Times Herald, who had 2 sacks. He views these guys as interchangeable parts. Each one of them has his own specialty. They come in and they seamlessly integrate. And unlike previous years, they get after the quarterback. And that's what they're going to need to do tonight. Upper Dublin, like Norristown, has a sophomore quarterback. So if the Eagles' defensive line can get to him early, it could be lights out rather quickly. But this Eagles offense, they put up a lot of points too. So that's one of the major keys to today's game.
Obviously, I don't even need to say it. It all starts and ends with Sheldon Mayer. But at the same time, Shannon Mayer in the passing attack will be key as well. I mean, this guy, the thing that impresses me the most, I've said it time and time again, he's led this team. He has 0 interceptions. He's making outstanding decisions. And Sheldon Mayer can win the games for this team. They need Shannon Mayer not to lose them. And he's been doing a great job of that. 6 touchdown passes, another one rushing, 0 interceptions. I mean, when he's asked to do something, he does it. And I've seen him make very, very few mistakes.
And that's a big difference from last year. I mean, Mark and I, when we did the games last year, we saw Shannon and to be frank, he was put in some tough situations. He was put in situations that would challenge any young quarterback. But he made some bad decisions, and he threw some balls that he would love to have back. This year, he has not done that, and he's throwing touchdowns, and he's getting the ball to his receivers like Ant Roby and Evan Battaglio. Incidentally, we talked before about needing to see more of Battaglio in the red zone, but his rather robust 30 yards plus average per catch, that's pretty good. So keeping Battaglio and keeping Roby as an integral parts of the passing attack are going to be key for the Eagles. One bright spot for the Eagles, it seems their kicking game has come alive a little bit. What about that?
Well, Jared Fox, the junior kicker, last week got all his extra points thrown in. I mean, it sounds like a trivial thing, but I mean, this team's had some problems in the kicking game, even extra points. And don't put it all on Fox. I mean, the whole unit has been struggling a lot through the first couple of weeks, but I guess they realized that and they got it together. So last week against Cheltenham, it looked fine, and it's no small thing. I mean, it can win and lose games, and of course the Eagles have been fortunate enough to have a lot of blowout victories in which it didn't come down to extra points, but I mean, it certainly can in the future.
So the 3 keys to today's game: Eagles defensive line stopping Williams, the stalwart running back for Upper Dublin. Good kid, got some size. It's going to be the Eagles offense putting up some points against this rather good Upper Dublin defense, and it's going to be that kicking game and the special teams. So if those 3 keys of the game, if the Eagles control those 3 facets, should be an easy win. We'll see you back at Upper Dublin Field with the pregame stats and hopefully what's going to be an exciting game tonight. See you in a few. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here underneath the lights. Dave Fazzini along with Mark Kolodinsky, and it promises to be an exciting night for football. The Upper Dublin Cardinals take the field tonight with a record of 1-2, and the Norristown Eagles, of course, with their undefeated and, frankly, unexpected record of 4-0.
Yeah, Norristown off to their best start since 2001 when they also went 4-0. They've been known to have some problems in the second half, but man, they've looked outstanding. I don't foresee it this year.
A very unexpected start for the Eagles as the captains take the field. For Norristown, we have number 65, Marcus Robbins. We have number 63, Nick Bloomer, 81, Evan Battaglio, and of course, number 25, Mr. Excitement, Sheldon Mayer. For the Cardinals, we have number 52, Frank Urick, number 53, Steve Amen, number 12, Evan Saltzman, and number 56, Tyler Betteridge. And apparently there's a lot of excitement here at Upper Dublin today because both of the outside linebackers are back. That had been a factor in keeping their defense not so great for the past few games, but last game much better, and their defense looks to be much improved. Area rankings, Norristown second in total offense, and Norristown's offense has been marked nothing short of spectacular.
Yeah, and the key to me has been Shannon Mayer running the whole thing, making the decisions, being a catalyst for the offense, and allowing defenses to not just key on Sheldon Mayer. And I think it'll be important for them to come out and establish some kind of a small passing game. It doesn't have to be anything game-breaking, but they got to establish something.
Although they certainly do have game-breaking speed, as Norristown wins the toss, likely will elect to receive, but we shall see here at Upper Dublin. They will elect to receive. What do you think about that decision? Do you want the ball in Mayer's hands right away? You're a fan of that speed game.
Yeah, sure. I mean, anytime you have a choice whether to get the ball or not, I mean, you take it. I mean, it's pretty much just a natural decision for E.J. Smith and his coaches, I would assume.
All right, so as we are getting set to kick off here, we will be with the kickoff in 1 second. Mark.
On the kickoff for the Cardinals, number 11, Casey Boyd. Back to receive for the Eagles, number 18, Ikeen Boyd. And number 27, Brandon Shippen.
Shippen, Boyd, back deep for the Eagles.
Onside kick.
Onside kick there. Norristown recovers.
From around 42-yard line.
So from their own 42, the Eagles offense will start off and have 1st and 10, and we'll get our first look at the Mayers and the rest of the Eagle offense. So they come out with Anthony Roby in motion. He goes to the far side. They hand it off to Mayer. And he's spilled in the backfield and loses the football, and Upper Dublin is on it. A somewhat disastrous first play for the Norristown Eagles. Boy, man, that's certainly not the way you want to start off. And it'll be Upper Dublin ball in Norristown territory. Just 9 seconds into the game. So this Eagles defense will be tested early. They're put in a terrible situation here. Ball at Norristown's 41. Dare hands it off to Williams. He's got a hole, and he picks up about 10. He might be a yard short of the first down, but a very solid first offensive play for the Cardinals, just like their first defensive play. So he comes up 2 yards short. It's 2nd and 2.
Well, you can't be happy so far if you're Eagles coach E.J. Smith. You've seen nothing that would give you indication of good tidings to come. But the game is young, fortunately, for the Eagles.
2nd and 2. They hand it off to the fullback, and he's able to get about 2, may have a first down.
Number 21, Tyler Mark on the carry. Tyler pulls it up to a game of 1. That leaves the Upper Dublin Cardinals 3rd and 1 from the Norristown 32-yard line.
So it ends up coming about a half a yard short. It'll be 3rd and inches. So the Eagles have a chance here on defense to make an early stand. They run it ahead with Williams. He's got it easily.
Williams on the carry. Gain the 3 on the play. First down Cardinals.
So it looks like so far so bad for Norristown, but you can't get too down on them right away. But at the same time, it's been a dispiriting first series with that quick fumble.
Yeah, no doubt. That's certainly not the way the Eagles plan on getting this started off. But like you said, it's very early.
Really nice accommodations here tonight at Upper Dublin. Really well played as they're building a new high school. We are glad that such a sumptuous press box.
Marked and corralled by number 81, Evan Battaglio.
The finest catering and all of the other accoutrements that come with it.
Meanwhile, Evan Battaglio with the huge tackle for a loss there. It's going to bring up 2nd and 18.
On the Norristown 36-yard line.
That Eagles defensive line really needs to get in there and do some damage.
Yeah, much like they did last week when they had 5 sacks against Cheltenham in a win. And that was obviously the key to that victory. Here's Durr rolling out to his left. He has his man, and that'll get him back just past the original line of scrimmage. That's complete to the captain, Evan Saltzman. He's a 5'8", 155-pound senior wide receiver. And he's quite a weapon for them.
28-yard line. Gain of 7 on the play, brings up 3rd and 9.
Going to be 3rd and 9. It's a good time for the Eagles to pin their ears back and really come after this young quarterback. And we'll see if that happens on this play. A traditional box step being done on the Norristown sideline. And it's a good night for dancing underneath the stars here at Upper Dublin.
In the shotgun is Durr. Big pass rush by the Eagles, but it's because they set up a beautiful screen. And number 8, Anthony Williams, their star running back and captain, gets the first down and more. Well drawn up.
That was a really well executed screen. That's exactly how you want it done. You want it to look like the quarterback is right, just going to be sacked and destroyed, but ultimately you get your linemen out there, get those big linemen out in front, there's no stopping you.
So it's been a disastrous start for the Eagles, but it's still a blank scoreboard, so Eagles have to make some kind of a stand here. Durr hands it off inside, and there's no room there as the Eagles defensive line gets the job done against the run this time.
Not much of anything right there.
So they'll give him 2. It'll be 2nd and 8. Ball on the 14. The Cardinals 14 yards away from scoring the first points of this contest.
And the Cardinals did not exactly put up fearsome offensive numbers this year. In fact, they're ranked about 7th in the area in total offense with only 138 rushing yards a game. So it's surprising to see them come out so bold this early.
Motion, and they hand it off to Williams. He's met by several Eagles, tries to fall forward, but only a gain of a couple.
Battaglio really key on that stop there for the Eagles.
Well, it's certainly different from last year for the Cardinals. I mean, last year, one of the best rushers in the area in Josh Mastromato, and they only lost 1 game. It happened to be to Norristown. But boy, this team is nowhere near where they were last year.
Nowhere near where they are last year at all, Marcus. The Cardinals band spirited up and looks like the Cardinals are about to score, but we will see.
Ball on the 11. It is 3rd and 7. Durr in the shotgun. Has motion once again. Takes the shotgun snap. He's looking to throw. Over the middle. And it's nowhere near its intended target. The only man close, Anthony Dinolfi of the Eagles.
That could have easily been picked.
Oh, yeah.
That's a bad throw, and it looks like the field goal unit's going to have to come on. We'll see if they can make field goals.
Yeah, I mean, this situation would certainly be scary for the Eagles to kick this type of field goal, but we'll see if the Cardinals' kicking game is any different.
The attempt will be a 28-yarder.
28-yard field goal. That's quite the distance in high school ball.
Casey Boyd, the kicker. The snap is good, the hold is there, and the kick is wide right. Not all that close.
Not even close at all. Yeah, in high school football, anything beyond an extra point is considered a high-risk play, and the Eagles dodged the bullet there.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of real estate between Norristown and the end zone.
But they certainly dodged the bullet. I mean, that early fumble, and then the Cardinals moving the ball the way they did, for them to still be tied at 0, and now they have the ball, they really dodged them there.
That's a very un-Sheldon Mayer move, too, for him to put the ball on the ground like that, and I don't think that happens again.
So split backs for the Eagles now on their second offensive drive. They hand it off to Presley, and there's not much room for him. Maybe got 1 or 2.
Yeah, 2 yards for Presley there, although Presley is 6th in the area in rushing touchdowns. He's got 3 on the season, and that's a testament to how much Coach Smith is willing to use the fullback as a weapon.
Yeah, and Tracy Presley has been great this season. Of course, 2 of those 3 touchdowns come in last game, but I mean, even outside of carrying the ball and catching the ball, he's been a tremendous blocker.
He certainly has been a tremendous blocker, Mark, and he gives a nice change of pace for Mayer.
They come out throwing, and it's short for Milo Hill, who makes a man miss temporarily and ends up being brought down at about the 33.
And that's exactly what you want to see as number 4, Milo Hill, makes that catch in the open field, gets that quick out, gets that turn. We talked before about Shannon Mayer not making some of those out throws. He does it on that play. Very well executed.
And that's a great way to get a quarterback in a rhythm early and establish, like I said, some kind of a passing game so that Sheldon Mayer, the holes get even bigger. Hill and Ruby, the wide receivers, as usual, with Presley and Mayer in the backfield. They hand it off to Presley, and he's spilled in the backfield for a loss.
Upper Dublin's defense tightens up on the run. Norristown's going to need to do something through the air tonight if they're going to want to win this game.
So we've played just under 7 minutes in this game, and it's 0-0. The Eagles, like we said, fortunate to have dodged one, and now driving.
Backs in the eye. Slowing down the music.
They hand it off to Sheldon Mayer. Makes a couple of cuts, heads up the field for a small gain. But it's been nothing more than that so far for the Eagles, just small gain after small gain.
Small gain after small gain, but still, they've been doing quite a good job.
But I guess eventually, that's kind of the nature of the Eagles, to get a bunch of small gains and suddenly break one off out of nowhere, so maybe no reason to be worried.
That's right. Mayer's like 4 yards, 4 yards, 4 yards, 60 yards.
Right,
so
exactly.
There's no reason to be worried. In fact, I like to grind it out run game, ball possession game. I don't think Norristown does that enough. And as they go throughout the season and they face tougher competition, they're really going to need to get better at controlling the ball. They're not going to be able to blow the doors off of every team.
And if they get 3 yards a pop, they'll be all right. Here's Mayer. He's got the first down all the way up to midfield, and Mayer moves the chains.
Number 7, linebacker Andrew Durr absorbs quite the shot from Mayer on that one. Mayer showing that it's not all just pretty running with him. He can lower the boom on people, and he's in open field.
Yeah, Andrew Durr, of course, also the quarterback. So, interesting use of a player, yeah.
Odd that they would have both the starting quarterback
Very,
being such a physical linebacker as well.
Yeah. Once again, they come out in an I formation, and they drop back to throw. Shannon Mayer goes to the sideline, and it's too tall for Anthony Roby.
Not a good pass there by Mayer. Didn't look like he saw him till the last minute, and didn't make a great decision on that ball. That ball's got to be down, got to throw it on a flat trajectory. Roby was wide open. Quick curl, just got to hit him. Now it's going to be 2nd and 10.
But do they have enough faith in Sheldon Mayer that given only 2nd and 3rd down, he can just pick it up, or do they have the faith in Shannon Mayer saying that on 1st down he could set them up for 2nd and 5?
It's more the second, Mark. They definitely have faith in Shannon Mayer's ability to get stuff done. And they want to get this kid some confidence in the beginning, get him some easy throws, as you said. So that's just looking for them to try to complete a high percentage pass. Just didn't work out that time.
They hand it off to Roby. He makes some guys miss. Wow, he's way too quick. He gets to the 30 and is spilled at the 29. Wow, I mean, 1 second he's one place, and the next second he's 5 yards up the field.
How important is it to get this kid involved in the game? We talk about him all the time. He's one of those pieces. He is right up there among the area leaders in receiving touchdowns. In fact, he's #1 in area in receiving touchdowns. But at the same time, Norristown's just got to keep finding clever ways to get him the ball.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 8 catches on the year. So, I mean, if he's touching the ball twice a game, that's not enough. So it's plays like that you love to see. Presley gets the handoff, and he's brought down after another short gain of about 1 or 2.
That's Yerrick on the stop there. And you can see why they were anxious to get their linebacker cores back in the game. They're getting everybody back from injury. Their 1 and 2 start is definitely an aberration. They're a better team than that.
Yeah, they're coming off of a win as well against Upper Moreland, where they won 20-13. So getting that first win out of the way, it definitely takes some pressure off, and the Eagles hope that they're not a victim of some positive momentum. Once again, Norristown comes out in their normal I formation. They hand it off to Sheldon Mayer, hit in the backfield, but falls forward and ends up with about 3 or 4 yards.
Good piece of running by Mayer after making something out of what was completely nothing, but still. I'd like to see a little less predictability from Norristown than that. Maybe opening it up with a screen pass or something, getting Shannon Mayer more involved rather than just trying to worry about getting Sheldon into the game. We want some points on the board out of this drive. It's been an impressive drive so far. They've got to convert.
So it'll be 3rd and 10, ball at the 29 of the Cardinals. The Eagles threatening to put the first points on the board. Mayer in the shotgun. Shannon Mayer, that is. Drops back, but there's flags before the play gets started. So I guess somebody moved early.
Hear those harmonies for the na-na-na-na-na section of the Wicked Wilson Pickett's Land of 1,000 Dances. Often that's the only part they play from that song for some reason, just to get the audiences involved, but not much of an audience.
So it was a false start on the Eagles, and that'll bring up a 3rd and long situation. What do they do now? What do they do now?
They throw.
Well, they come out with 4 wide receivers, so Mayer drops back, heaves it down the field, and it's too short, and it's picked off. Down to a knee goes number 3, Khalil Nash, so he's down, but that's the first interception throw of the year by Shannon Mayer. We must have jinxed them.
It's up to the defense to get something done now.
So 2 drives, 2 turnovers for the Eagles, very uncharacteristic of what they've been doing all season.
And Coach E.J. Smith has to be fuming over on the sidelines at this uncharacteristic performance from the Eagles.
Although that one's not nearly as bad as it looks, actually, because, I mean, if that pass is incomplete, I mean, you got 4th and long from an awkward
You're
spot.
punting anyway, yeah.
I mean, the field position, they might have lost 15 yards in field position max, so they run it up the middle and get a very solid 9 or 10 yard gain with Anthony Williams.
What I'm more concerned about now, Mark, is some of the softness being exhibited by the defensive line there. You know, we talked at the pregame show about the defensive line being such a key for the Eagles. They've got to do a better job and tighten up in there. They can't be giving up 8 yards on every run.
Yeah, it's like the 3rd or 4th time we've seen a big burst like that through the middle, and we've got 60 seconds to go now in the first quarter. Still no score.
quick-moving game here at Upper Dublin.
Andrew Durr takes the snap back. He's looking to throw. Throws short, and on a different page was number 25, Jeff Buchanan, and his quarterback, Andrew Durr.
Yeah, that one just didn't work out at all. That's meant to be like a quick little hitch. Your wide receiver, it's all predicated on timing. Those types of throws are very difficult to make in a high school game because, first of all, it takes a lot of practice. I mean, you see Donovan McNabb, even at the pro game, having some troubles making those throws. In a West Coast offense, that's all predicated on timing. That's all they practice. In high school, with a lot of different variables, it's hard to make those throws. One of the hardest throws for a high school kid to make.
3rd and 1, ball on the 24. They hand it off to Williams. No surprise there. He's got another big hole up the middle. So more of what you were talking about as he's able to bypass the defensive line and get into the secondary.
Well, Williams really turned it on, having a big game last week against Upper Moreland, and he was looked at what Upper Dublin was really looking for. Upper Dublin just had no offensive strategy. They had no go-to guy. They had no mayor. But what they did now is they got a kid involved, this Williams, who's really just doing a great job for him. And he's doing it here tonight to Norristown.
Yeah, and a great job by this Cardinals offensive line of neutralizing what is a very big, very strong, very good at stopping the run defensive line. That's a short swing pass to number 11, and he gets a gain of about 3. That's Casey Boyd on the catch.
Yeah, those little swings,
Yeah, I mean, 3 yards.
Yeah, 3 yards.
More or less a long toss.
Right, for short yards.
So it's going to bring up 2nd and about 7. The Cardinals have been moving the ball pretty well. I mean, the last drive ended in that missed short field goal. Now this one, I mean, they're not busting off any big gains, but I mean, 5 yards here, 6 yards there, they're getting it done.
They don't have to.
All right. They hand it off, and another gain of a dozen. This time it's number 21, Tyler Marks.
Something's wrong with this defensive line. They look soft tonight.
Yeah.
Upper Dublin is gutting them up the middle.
They look like teddy bears as opposed to grizzly bears.
Opposed to grizzly bear, exactly right. They call themselves the Bears. They look like the Build-A-Bears tonight.
But it's been for the first time this season. I mean, for the first 4 games, they've looked like a force, and now not so much.
Little Ozzy Osbourne emanates from the far side, but what needs to happen is those defensive linemen need to step up and be Iron Men as we leave the first quarter and head into the second. Ozzy Osbourne once bit the head off a bat. Let's see what the Eagles do to the Cardinals.
And like last week, no score in the first quarter, but they're lucky, the Eagles are. 2 turnovers, not too much success on offense, and to still be 0-0, they got to feel lucky.
To still have it be 0-0, that's pure luck. That's what it is. As happy as we were last week with the Eagles' effort against Cheltenham, that's how disappointed you have to be so far. Not so much in the score. The score's nothing. That happens. But it is the indicators that you see of bad things to come in this game, like that just relentless gutting up the middle by Upper Dublin, who's not a physical team. They're not especially big, and they don't have a history of being able to especially run very well. Last year they had Josh Mastromato, who was the offensive player of the area. All area times hurled. He's gone this year. What are the Eagles doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the one area that's killed them in this quarter. I mean, they haven't been particularly sharp anywhere, but I mean, those runs, like you said, up the middle. I mean, I can't explain it. They got to make some kind of an adjustment. And, I mean, their passing game looks shaky. So if I'm the Eagles, I'm just, putting all my biggest guys out there and just trying to stop those runs up the middle.
Well, they've got their big guys, Edwards and Marcus Robbins in there, so we'll see. Couple up the middle. Still moving the ball, getting yards. 5 yards there.
Second quarter just underway. I'm Mark Hodensky along with Dave Vazini, bringing you Eagles varsity football from Upper Dublin.
Again, we'd like to thank him for these palatial accommodations.
Yeah, we're out in the open today, enjoying the fresh air. I think the rain's going to hold off.
I think the rain's going to hold off, and we are getting our Thoreau on out here. I went to the woods to suck the marrow out of life.
Very true. And here's the handoff to number 21. That is Tyler Marks once again. And, man, I mean, we saw that's Marks' second run. His first one went for about 10. So, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Williams or not. It's clearly the offensive line overmatching the Eagles' defensive line, and that should not be the case. The Eagles are way bigger, stronger, probably even a little quicker. So I can't explain it.
No, this is one of those enigmatic mysteries, unexplainable, like the disappearance of the lost city of Atlantis. Like, why did that disappear? An enigmatic mystery. Many have tried to explain it, some through dance, but none have been successful.
Maybe we'll get an explanation at halftime from the band.
Perhaps.
Williams up the middle, and on 3rd and about 4, they stop him for a gain of 0, and they're going to have to punt.
I don't know what I just saw, but I think it was an Eagles defensive lineman making a tackle. Did I see that?
I saw it.
Wow.
And that's big. I mean,
it certainly is.
And now it happens at the most opportune of times on a 3rd and 4. And now they got to punt to the combination of Dinolfi and Mayer, and we know how dangerous they can be. Last week, as well as last year, I'm sure. Yeah. Sheldon Mayer ran back a punt return, 80 yards for a score. Held to under 100 yards on the ground for the first time this season, although we did have 99. But, I mean, that punt return certainly offset all that. And there's a flag.
Dead ball.
An illegal substitution penalty. You can't have that.
You can't have that. That just throws your punter off the game. The punter's already got to be scared enough trying to kick to Sheldon Mayer and Dinolfi. You don't need any other foolishness trying to throw him off his game. Last week we saw Cheltenham making some rather bizarre decisions in their punting game, including the line drive punts that they kicked to Mayer. No hang time whatsoever. Mayer takes one to the house. We'll see how this kid looks with his leg for Upper Dublin.
And you called that return, I must say. It's a booming punt that sends Mayer back to the 10. He catches it on the back pedal. He's to the 15. There's a flag, so this one's going to come back, but he's up the sideline. He's got some room. Still going up the sideline. Cuts back. He has a clear path to the end zone, but there is a marker down back at the 15, so bring this one back in all likelihood.
I normally would scream, but there's a flag.
I mean, even with the flag, I mean, I don't know how he stayed alive and just he looked like twice as fast as any Upper Dublin coverage man on that play.
I feared that it was just a long jog.
It looked like they gave up because I saw the marker. I mean, that's obviously not the case, but that's what it seemed like.
Yeah, that's definitely coming back.
So that's about a 91-yard return wiped out by a penalty. And more early miscues by the Eagles.
I guarantee Coach Smith is hunting that player who made that penalty on that.
Yeah, and that's the 3rd major mistake the Eagles have made. And, I mean, it's something we saw from them last year. And we've been saying all this year that this team's different. This team's going to win because they don't do those things. And now here we are. They're doing them.
The reason they're 4-0 is because they haven't done those things. And if they do those things tonight, they're going to be 4-1. Good teams beat bad teams when they play them. But this Upper Dublin team is not a bad team, despite what their 1-2 record might say. Norristown's taking them lightly. A block in the back, and it's obviously, as we said, it's coming back. We'll see. Sheldon's going to have to do it again.
Well, the Eagles will get deplorable starting field position. They'll be at the 10. So not only do they have to lose the touchdown, but now they got to start at the 10. Mayer with 2 wide receivers near side. That's Roby and Hill, but I'll hand it off to Sheldon Mayer. And he's upended after a gain of about 1 or 2.
So evidently, Upper Dublin didn't watch any tape on Sheldon Mayer returning punts, but they thoroughly scoured the Eagles' playbook for every conceivable running play that they could do because they're ready for him there.
I mean, the yards per rush must be insane in favor of Upper Dublin at this point. I mean, Upper Dublin, they run the ball every play, and they're getting 6 yards a pop. Eagles doing the same, getting about 3 yards a pop.
Yeah.
And, man, again, fortunate for it to just be a scoreless game.
Well, back's in the eye now.
Mayer hands it off to his brother Sheldon. Oh, this is Denolfi in the game, actually, and he'll gain a couple, but there's a marker down. Short gain, but we'll check the marker.
Preliminary is holding against the Eagles.
No surprise.
No.
And they'll be in a second and long situation. Boy, not a good start for the Eagles in any area right now.
Any area.
But you know what? The great teams, when they're struggling, find ways to win games. I mean, that special teams play by Mayer that got wiped out, it's things like that, I mean, minus the penalty, that these Eagles have to find ways to score.
Yeah, they really do have to find ways to overcome these obstacles, but really great teams don't create these obstacles for themselves. Really great teams, what they'll do is they will overcome obstacles that have been set up for them by quality teams, but they won't go out of their way to make trouble for themselves.
Yeah, that's true, because the Eagles are definitely shooting themselves in the foot right now.
2 turnovers and all these penalties.
And now they're backed up into the shadow of their own goalposts. But Mayer will give them a little bit of room, but there's not much there. So they'll be at about the 4-yard line now, and they're going to have 3rd down and about 15.
And if they don't convert this, the field position battle, it instantly goes to Upper Dublin. Upper Dublin's going to get the ball in great field position, even if Norristown's punter gets off a booming kick.
And with the way their offense has looked so far, I mean, who's to say they can't go 50 yards with their running game and punch this one in? And I mean, that's not exactly the place you want to be punting from either.
No.
With the, the goalposts 2 feet behind you.
And notorious snapping problems.
Not really a good formula. So do you just try to get some room here, or do you try to pick this thing up?
You got to try to pick it up.
Flags before the snap. Boy, if this is a false start against the Eagles, and it is, that's not good. So ball at about the 2. And now if the Eagles want to try to pick this up, they got to pass, right?
Yeah.
But then, I mean, you're going to drop back to your own back of the end zone. And that's, it's a risky situation.
Therein lies the rub. The problem with this is you have to pass. The down is too great. It's 3rd and 20. If you're going to pick this up, you're going to do it by passing. But if you're going to pass, you're accepting that risk inherent therein.
Mayer drops back, throws deep for Roby, and it's just out of his reach. It seems like Roby gave up on that, but it was quite a bit away from him. Not a terrible throw, but not on the money.
And he had him.
Roby did have his man beat by a couple steps.
Roby has everybody beat by a couple steps, but Shannon should have hit him. He'd have been off to the races had that happened.
Well, now we're in that ugly situation. Number 12, Evan Saltzman is back to receive the kick. He's standing at the Eagles' 40, and he's a heck of a weapon himself. Not exactly a guy you want to kick the ball to in your territory. And Taylor Hillenbrand has been really good for the Eagles so far punting, but this is a very tenuous situation, punting from the back of your own end zone.
And they're coming.
And he pulls it down. I guess he did not think he could get it off, and that's a safety. 2-0 Cardinals. We got a baseball score.
2-run homer for Pujols.
And the Cardinals lead 2-0. Well, to break that down a little bit, I mean, obviously when you're punting from the back of your end zone, you have less space because you can't stand outside your end zone. And Taylor Hillenbrand received the snap, decided he had no chance of getting it off, pulled it down, and ran it. And are the Eagles fortunate that they got a safety? Because if he brings it out to the 1 and turns it over, that's going to be 7 or 6 at least.
They're fortunate. As weird as this is to say, they're fortunate. It's still terrible. I mean, the safety is one of the most. That's one of the most demoralizing plays that can happen. It is an embarrassing play. But in this case, punter makes the right decision by pulling it down. If it was blocked, that's a touchdown. That's a disaster. So he made the right call. So as much as I don't like to admit it, he made the right call.
He saved them 5 points, or at least 4. But now the Eagles have to do the old safety punt, and the Cardinals are going to get the ball and probably in pretty good field position. Boy, what else can go wrong?
So far, we've had more flags than in front of the UN building. We've had just poor play by the offense and the defense. And then we add the special teams to the litany of people who aren't doing their job here tonight.
We've played just over 15 minutes in this game altogether. And the Eagles have lost a fumble from Sheldon Mayer, had an interception from Shannon Mayer, had a 90-yard return wiped out by a holding call or a block in the back, a safety on a punt play, and boy, we still got 7 minutes left and a half.
Yeah, send in the clowns.
Hillenbrand boots it away, and it's out of bounds.
Cooper Smith goes out of bounds at the upper Dublin 40-yard line.
So since that happened at the 40, I think they're just going to get it right there. You get it where it goes out if it doesn't reach the 40, I believe. Of course, we're also looking at the safety punt.
There's a whole host of people involved deciphering the rules here.
Yes, a safety punt goes out of bounds. I mean, we don't exactly see that every week,
No.
but I mean, the bottom line is the Cardinals are going to get good field position.
They've got to go to like subsection G
Exactly.
of like rule 417 to be able to find that one out.
On the Norristown 45-yard line.
Oh.
So looking at the 45.
Subsection G did not yield a fruitful harvest for Norristown because apparently it said we're putting it at the 45 of Norristown. Yuck. Well, Mark, momentum's definitely in Upper Dublin's favor right now.
Oh, man. And I mean, how long can this Upper Dublin offense be kept off the scoreboard? I mean, they honestly haven't looked all that bad. Durr takes the snap. He'll take it himself. There's a flag, and it's a gain of 1. But I believe that marker is going to be against the Cardinals. These referees are not slow to throw the flag tonight.
No. I thought the color guard was out there already with his number of flags.
I was just going to say, I think there's more flags on the field today than in the color guard.
Great minds think alike, Mark.
Yeah.
Great minds think alike. I'd like to take this opportunity to give a shout out to cameraman Griffin Blake back there, doing good things. He's a good man, and he has intense beliefs, and it's a great night here at historic Upper Dublin Field. Normally it'd be historic Roosevelt Field, but we're not home.
And not exactly optimal conditions for our little 3-man crew here to set this up in a little, I don't know, we got about 10 square feet here to work with.
Yeah. Kind of is reminiscent of a fishing dock. I want to throw the crab traps over the side and see if we have caught any halibut.
They hand it off to Williams. He goes up the middle for a first down and more. He's all the way up to the 37. And the Cardinals' run game continues to penetrate the Eagles' defense without any problems.
They're making Williams look like the best player in the history of sports here tonight. He looks like Jim Thorpe, Agamemnon, and Gale Sayers combined.
And Sheldon Mayer looks like just another guy.
Just another guy.
Oh, a bad snap. It's bobbled, and Durr just has to eat it. And now he throws it away. Are they going to let him? Are they going to call that incomplete?
I guess they're going to say.
Incomplete.
I guess they're going to say
Oh,
he got
man.
out of the pocket.
When it rains, it pours.
When it rains, it pours. They're
Oh,
going
my
to say
goodness.
it.
That's
He was in the grasp.
unbelievable. That is unbelievable. And I must give him a lot of credit because I like it. I like the move, but it's just a tough break for the Eagles.
Tough break for the Eagles. He was definitely in the grasp.
That is heads up, though. You got to give him that.
No, definitely.
And didn't risk an interception. He got that thing to the sideline. I wouldn't advise him just throwing it up, but he threw it away. It'll bring up a 3rd and 4 situation. Once again, they come out in the shotgun. And they'll call a timeout to get things straightened out. But I don't know. Their running game up the middle has been outstanding, yet they continue to go with shotgun formations.
I can't explain that. You know I'm a fan of the running game. You know I'm a fan of the up-the-gut, off-tackle play. And seeing offensive lines beat defensive lines, I'm a big believer that you've got to control the ball, kind of control the game at the line of scrimmage. Upper Dublin's screwing up by not following those precepts.
If I'm Upper Dublin, I just line up in an eye and just run up the middle until they stop it.
Until they stop it. Come up with something new when you have to.
Yeah, they're trying to be way too fancy.
Yeah. You saw that fanciness almost got him with that sack right there on 3rd down. Norristown's defensive line, while not having a good game, is still a really good defensive line. You can't put them in. You can't, if you're Upper Dublin, put Norristown in an opportunity where you're setting them up to succeed. You need to set them up to fail. The only way you're doing that tonight is by running up the middle. Set them up to succeed when you drop back the pass. That's what you're doing.
Tyler Marks, the only running back on this play. Williams is on the sideline for now. 3rd and 4. And they'll roll out with Durr. He throws it to the sideline, and it's caught. That's senior captain number 12, Evan Saltzman. So I don't like the play call, but it worked out.
They played it safe on 3rd and short. They recognized something in the Norristown defense, and the quarterback there made a good heads-up call by calling that timeout. Evidently, he saw something. As a sophomore, that's a gutsy move because you can really get blasted by your coach and people, like us for calling stupid timeouts. But he did a good job there. He recognized something and kept the drive alive.
I still don't like it. I mean, they take Anthony Williams off the field on 3rd and 4. I mean, he's getting 4 yards on his bad runs tonight, and they passed the ball, but they got away with it. This is number 24, Luke Felix on the carry for a short gain.
Number 48, Brett Golston makes the play on that one. First time we hear from Golston so far. No gain.
2nd and 10, ball at the Eagles' 32. The Upper Dublin offense continues, I should say the Eagles' defense continuing to bend but not to break. The only points of the game put up on special teams as Taylor Hillenbrand was brought down in the end zone by the Cardinals coverage team for a safety.
And you know this game is not going to end 2-0. So as long as the defense can keep doing its job.
More pre-snap flags. False start or delay of game on the Cardinals.
Easy to tell here because along with the ultra deluxe penthouse accommodations for the announcers, you also have play clocks, which makes a delay of game here thoroughly inexcusable.
Yeah, I mean, it's in plain sight, but we haven't seen Anthony Williams in the game for a couple of plays, and there's on the sideline, I believe that's him with his pads and jersey off. I don't know. I mean, he's been missing, and it looks like there could be an injury there.
Shoulder.
Yeah. So they set up a little screen. Robbins had him by the jersey, and the knockout blow delivered by Battaglio, and it goes for a gain of about 5.
Battaglio's knockout blow knocked him forward another 2 yards.
So I don't know. It doesn't look good with Anthony Williams. Certainly something to keep an eye on. I mean, it looks like they're going to have to go with Tyler Marks, Luke Felix, and company.
Yep.
And, boy, that could be a tough blow because he was off to a tremendous start.
Really tremendous start.
Durr once again drops back. They've been throwing the ball a lot. And he had a man that was Saltzman again, but he threw it over his head. The coverage was pretty tight by Donoffi.
It's evident that Upper Dublin paid attention last week to Marcus Robbins' press clippings because they're not letting him anywhere near Durr. They're just keeping him away They're rolling away from his side, and they know where he is at every minute.
And the Cardinals, I guess, feel they can't run the ball without Anthony Williams because it's been like more than 50-50 pass over the past couple of plays. And now it's 4th and 8, and they're going to go for it.
Well, they certainly can't run the ball without Anthony Williams. Their running game without him has not looked good. I don't agree with this call, but at this time, I guess it's what you have to do.
Durr rolls out to his right, being pursued, and throws an interception to Derek Williams. There's a flag on the field, but Derek Williams on the return of the interception now, and he gets all the way out to his own 36, and we're going to check on the marker.
Looks like preliminary signal is against Norristown. If this interception comes back,
the Upper Dublin coach is certainly indicating that it's against the Eagles.
the Eagles had better hope it's a post-infraction call.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say was it thrown before or after the interception?
It was thrown almost at the same time.
That's not a good sign.
Which leads you to possibly think, yes, it's holding.
On the return.
No.
It's defensive holding.
It's defensive holding.
Was it on the so I don't think it was on the return.
Defensive holding meaning that evidently the referees think that Williams got a handle on him before the play.
Not good.
Nope.
And wow.
Oh.
And it was 4th down there too, and Holton there is the official sign from the referee.
This is a farcical performance on all aspects of the Eagles game.
Goodness gracious. I mean, not only do they have the interception taken away, but that was 4th down, and the Cardinals end up with a 1st down, and they're moving down the field some more. They're going to be, where do they spot the ball? At the 20. So they're at the edge of the red zone now. Oh my goodness. Eagles go from a great situation to a not so great one.
Yeah, and about the running game, what Upper Dublin's doing, you know, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. This lemonade is particularly sour for the Eagles because it's comprised entirely of penalties. But like lemonade, everything has been completely yellow. The carpet of this field is carpeted with yellow flags. And the only thing I could see, the only word that I could use is disgusting. It is a disgusting game.
But it's only 2-0 somehow, miraculously.
That is a miracle.
I mean, we don't exactly have any advanced statistics or anything, but I mean, the total yardage has clearly been dominated by the Cardinals. The yards per play has clearly been dominated by the Cardinals. The turnover battle has been won by 2 by the Cardinals. Oh, my goodness. Durr takes the snap. He'll hand it off. And they get a solid gain up the middle with Tyler Marks.
A sloppy-looking handoff and a sloppy-looking exchange, but it still gets 5 yards.
4 minutes and change to go in the half. I'm Mark Hoddens, going with Dave Fazzini for NASD TV, bringing you Eagles football tonight and all season long. The Eagles 4-0, but you wouldn't know it from their performance here tonight. But plenty of time to turn it around, and they're down by just 2.
Well, the Eagles are traditionally a first-half team, so tonight they're going to have to reverse kind of that paradigm in order to be successful here tonight.
It's very true. That'll only net them about 2 yards tops, and it'll bring up 3rd down, but a manageable 3rd down.
Yeah, a very manageable 3rd down. We'll see what they do. We'll see if they throw that quick little out. I mean, if they throw that quick little out, Eagles' corners are going to need to be more alive than they've been because they've converted on a couple of those so far.
They got away throwing the ball on like 3rd and 3 once already. I mean, they got to have a lot of guts to do it again.
Especially in this part of the field.
Yeah, I mean.
But I don't think field goal kicking is exactly their thing.
But then again, without Williams, they've been passing the ball a lot. And they have to spend their 2nd time out of the half.
So what was an incredibly fast-moving first quarter has now been an incredibly slow-moving second quarter, as there's been a lot of timeouts and stoppages of play. So we'll see what happens. Coach Smith is out there, and he does not look pleased. And why would he be?
Yeah, I mean, they've been killing themselves with miscues. I mean, Evan Saltzman also on the sideline. And of course, Williams with the injury. So, I mean, two of Upper Dublin's main weapons not on the field for this third down. And, I don't know, I got to think that they're running the ball just based on the fact that their top wide receiver is off the field.
And what they're doing, their offense is simultaneously playing defense because they're keeping the explosive Mayer and company off the field.
Yeah, their time of possession has to be through the roof. I mean, try to think of some Eagles offensive plays. You can barely think of them. It's been like 80% Cardinals.
It's been roughly 1,000 years since the Eagles have had the football.
At which time they had it for a good 5 seconds.
A good 5 seconds, yeah, exactly.
They do end up in a huge power running formation, but they fake the handoff, throw for the end zone. It's complete. It's actually a couple yards short of the end zone and stepping out of bounds inside the 5 is their running back, Tyler Marks. So they convert it with a throw out of a primarily running formation, and that certainly took the Eagles by surprise.
And Roby played with fire there by trying to strip the ball instead of making the tackle. They didn't score on that play, but they very well could have, and now they've put themselves in great position.
So the ball will be spotted at the 6. The Cardinals 6 yards away from punching this one in for the first touchdown of the game. The Eagles defense, I mean, they got to make a stand here. This team needs some kind of a spark. They hand it off to Marks, and he's brought down at about the 2.
Upper Dublin continuing to make lemonade.
2 minutes and 40 seconds to go now in the half. Again, no 2-minute warning in the high school game, so if Upper Dublin plays their cards right, no pun intended, they can allow the Eagles no time to do anything on offense. Not that they have been doing much regardless of the clock, but I mean, when you got Sheldon Mayer and Roby, you can score in 10 seconds, so the less time you leave, the better.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I'm the Cardinals, you got to punch it in, not worry too much about the clock. They hand it off. They run behind that big offensive line, in for the touchdown. A 2-yard touchdown run, and it is 8-0 Cardinals with the point after coming.
A disappointing effort by the defensive line on that play. I'm trying not to utterly skewer them here, but as much as they were like the studs and the stars of last week's game, they're the goats of this week's game. There's no excuse for this kind of play.
And they run some kind of a fake on the extra point, and it goes nowhere.
Yeah, that went tragically awry. They're lucky they're horrible on special teams.
I don't know. That was ugly, but 8-0, and that's big because now it's just a 1-score game. And the Eagles do have 2 minutes and 9 seconds to try to get something going. It just takes one play. It takes one play, and these Eagles, things are looking up big time. It could be the kickoff.
Guaranteed Mayer's going to be back there for this one.
Absolutely. So the touchdown run by Tyler Marks, who has to step up and be a star tonight with Anthony Williams hurt. I mean, it's just even more embarrassing for the Eagles that their star running back and really star player is on the sideline with an ice pack on his shoulder, and they still can't stop him.
Yeah, that definitely makes it more embarrassing.
Mayer is indeed back to receive the kick. So is Akeem Boyd. Akeem Boyd's been a stud on special teams all year in all areas. And, of course, Mayer can bust one at any time. And the Eagles are fortunate that the Upper Dublin kicking game is on the same level as theirs because they've left now 4 points on the field in the kicking game, and it's 8-0 instead of 12-0.
That's exactly right.
One of the few things that's going right for the Eagles. It's a little squib kick. Hits Roby in the helmet. and is recovered at about the 30. No return. So a good job by the Cardinals to keep it away from the return men. Don't know if he's dangerous. If he can field that,
If he can field it.
he could do some damage, but you've seen what's going on for the Eagles tonight, so it's no surprise that they bobble that chance away.
No, it really isn't a surprise. It was actually kind of expected.
So 2 minutes and 5 seconds, plenty of time for the Eagles to put some kind of a drive together, or, like we said, that explosive big play ability. Shotgun for Shannon Mayer with 3 wide receivers. He's looking to throw, drops back, rolls out now, being pressured, throws down the sideline, and it's complete. I believe that's Milo Hill. He's unable to get out of bounds, but forward progress will have him all the way up to the 39-yard line, a yard short of the first.
Good job. Get Mayer a little bit of confidence. Very nice play there. I like that throw, and I like that call by Coach Smith.
Second and 1 with the clock running at 1:35 to go. The Eagles need to hurry up here. Ball at the 49. The 39, excuse me.
This indicates to me that they're going to try to go deep. If they don't have any sense of urgency.
And they do line up with 4 wide receivers. Mayer with the quick throw gets it to, I believe that's number 18, Akeem Boyd.
Yeah, that's Boyd.
And they continue to move it.
Good job. Crisp pass by Mayer, throws it on a flat trajectory, gets it about 15 yards in the air, and most importantly, keeps it away from any Upper Dublin defenders.
Can this work, going up the field with these intermediate type of throws? They're not going deep, but they're clearly trying to move the ball fast.
Intermediate throws, getting out of bounds. If Mayer has the discipline to hit his men, he can do it with 8 yards at a pop, 8 to 15 at a pop.
And now we see Sheldon Mayer line up in the slot. Not surprising in this clear passing situation. Shannon Mayer drops back.
Oh, he's holding them!
He steps up in the pocket and brings it down to run. And he's got a gain of about 13 and gets out of bounds. Very
and gets out
heady
of bounds.
play.
But we see a flag on the play.
Flag all the way back behind the line of scrimmage. That's not a good sign.
There is a flag on the field.
Looks
Pretty
like a
sure that's
hold.
going to be a holding, yeah. What a way to kill a drive.
With metronomic regularity, the flags are a-flying here underneath the stars at beautiful Upper Dublin Stadium. The only thing more exciting than some of these constant stoppages of play because of flags are those late-night sleep aid commercials. The metronomic tick-tocking of these sleep-inducing flaggage is really something.
Well, Shannon Mayer, we really get to see a lot of him now in this passing situation. Last week, he only threw the ball 11 times, only completed 4. I mean, he might throw 11 passes and 4 completions on this drive.
Yeah.
4 wide receivers once again. He drops back. With a defender in his face, he breaks the sack. Now he steps up to run. And he's tripped up. They'll stop the clock. They say he got out of bounds. Half a second inside a minute to go. And not exactly a great play, but Mayer, you got to give him credit, avoided the sack. Lived to fight another battle at least.
There's another flag.
Unbelievable. We might have had more flags in this first half than we had the rest of the season combined.
Personal foul against the Cardinals. Something goes right for the Eagles.
Personal foul on Upper Dublin.
Looked like kind of a horse collar tackle there.
So that's gonna be 15 yards, isn't
15.
it? Yeah. And
15 and a first.
Yep.
Upper Dublin has to be irate about that. You don't make those kind of mistakes.
Yeah, that could be huge. So the ball at the 47, and the clock winding now at 55 seconds. 1st and 7. 4 wide receivers once again. Hill, Roby, Boyd, and Mayer. Shannon Mayer drops back, bombs it down the field. He's looking for Roby, and it's intercepted. Mayer's 2nd interception of the game and season. And fortunately, that's all the way down the field, and with just 36 seconds to go, it looks like we're going to go into halftime 8-0, but unfortunately, the Eagles unable to change that in their favor.
He underthrew Roby on that one. Roby, again, had a man. Again, kind of redundant. Roby's always going to have his man beat, but Roby did have a step on his man, and Mayer just underthrew him.
But you got to respect the throw, the decision to go down the field.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, at this point, relatively low risk because it's not like the Cardinals are going to put together a 95-yard drive in 36 seconds. Oh, maybe they will with the way things are going for the Eagles.
And they're not going deep, though. They're not throwing deep against the Eagles secondary. That that's not happening.
No, that wouldn't be a smart idea, especially with how well it's gone for them. And they're going to take a knee.
A wise move.
So that's going to bring the half to a close after this last half a minute runs off the clock. It's 8-0 Cardinals, but it could be a heck of a lot worse.
It should be a heck of a lot worse. The Eagles have extraordinary luck on their side that it's 8-0. And this halftime, I mean, they're going to get castigated, excoriated, and just screamed at for great reason. Horrible half for the Eagles. Coach Smith is going to lay into them, and rightly so.
Quiet half for Sheldon Mayer. Shannon Mayer with 2 interceptions. Sheldon Mayer with the fumble. The long punt return touchdown nullified by the penalty. And somehow Eagles only down by 8.
And we'll be back after the half.